hear what you might be thinking.
Oh no, MSG is bad for you.
It isn't. Oh my god.
So
I've started off with a nice fatty bit of pork. That's pretty damn important. Don't skimp on that. Don't cut it off. Don't be a coward. Use that fat, use the skin. Otherwise, I'm going to come and bash you, okay? So what we've got here is roasted pork. I've added soy sauce, black vinegar, and a bit of 5-spice. Wrapped it up in foil, roasted it in the oven on about 150°C for about 2 to 2.5 hours to get it really nice and soft and tender. Okay, first things first, we're going to get this bad boy out of these juices. I'm going to be using all of these pan juices, so don't worry. This is all the best bit here. If you throw this out, you're a fucking idiot. Well, you're getting away. You can see it's pretty full apart here at this point. That's what we want. So we'll chuck that over there. So I like my bits of pork to be relatively big in my noodles. So I'm going to chop it up probably about that size, I would say. You can see it's kind of just falling apart as we cut through. This is what we want. It's going to kind of break up a little bit as we cook, but we don't want to break it up too much. I want them to be relatively decent chunks, but it is going to break up a bit by itself. So
not much you can do about that.
Alright, I've got our pork chopped up and set aside. Next thing we need is our rice noodles. Now I've gone to my local Asian grocers to get these. Secret to buying rice noodles, good ones anyway, don't go to Coles and Woolies, don't buy that bullshit supermarket. What you want is the most obscure, cheapest possible one you can find. The less English, the better, trust me on that. Now, the next thing that people always stuff up is they always boil their noodles. That is the
Quickest way to fuck it up.
And you're gonna get really stodgy, soggy noodles and it's not gonna come out right. What you wanna do, get it in a bowl. If you've got time, put it in room temperature water, let it sit for a couple of hours, stir it a bit, and they'll start to hydrate. If you don't have as much time, use some hot water from your kettle, just pour it over the top here. So you'll see they're going to start kind of wilting down by themselves. So we're going to let these guys hang out for about 5 minutes while we chop up our spring onions. Alright, so I got this heckin' bad boy from my backyard, grown in my own veggie garden. Hasn't done very well this year, unfortunately, but hopefully it'll do better next year. But, well, this year technically, depending on when you're watching this, or when I upload it. So we're going to chop the greens off to start with, and we're going to put those aside. I don't want it too chunky, relatively thin, but we don't want it kind of paper thin either. I'm going to fry off the greens, the white part here, kind of like you would an onion. So the green bits here are going to be for our garnish. They're going to kind of go in towards the end. They got cooked a little bit, but not much, only for a minute or two. These guys we do want relatively thin. Don't worry about speed chopping here. Like, we're going for precision more than speed here, especially when you're cooking at home. Like, you'll see those fancy chefs online here doing their quick turbo chops. That shit's stupid, don't worry about it. If you just, especially if you're starting out, just chop at your own pace. Like, do it accurate. It's better than doing it fast. All right, so that's everything that needs to be chopped. So I'm gonna check out how our noodles are going. Give them a bit of a stir. Kind of zhuzh them around, make sure they're not sticking together. These type of rice noodles do have a tendency to stick together, so you need to kind of stir them pretty often, otherwise that might happen. Alright, I want to try these out, see how they're doing. Yeah, pretty good. So, we don't want our noodles to be soggy. We want them to be kind of a little bit just before al dente. A little bit firm, a little bit chewy, but definitely not raw. Alright, our noodles are rinsed off and cooled down to stop the cooking process, so let's start building our sauce. We're going to use all of this roasting liquid here. If I can, if I can pour it in without fucking spilling it everywhere, but let's give her a crack. Get ready for a disaster. Oh, look at that. Nailed it. I never doubted myself, and I know you didn't doubt me either. Alright, so there's already some really good flavors going in here, but we're going to bolster it up a little bit more. What I like to do is add about, I'm going to say about a tablespoon of hoisin. That feels like a tablespoon there. We do things with feeling, not measurements around here. Unless we're baking. Can add a bit more soy sauce, even though we've got a bit in the cooking liquid. Gonna just bolster it up, want it to be mainly soy sort of flavored. Gonna add a little bit more of this black vinegar as well, just a splash. And we're also going to add about, I'd say half a teaspoon of beef stock or bouillon, you guys might call it there. And of course, the good shit. Nothing but the good shit. Half a teaspoon of MSG. Now, hear what you might be thinking. Oh no, MSG is bad for you. It isn't. It really fucking isn't. Just calm down. Calm down. Putting it in. See, it didn't explode. Not going to poison you. You're going to be fine. Look, I'm so confident. Look, watch this. Check it out. Look at this. MSG. Tastes like salty sugar. Fucking good shit. Just eat it. Come on. Oh my god, that feel when you realize halfway through the video that your two other cameras haven't really been recording properly. Not sure what happened there. Bunch of really amazing footage that you're gonna miss out on now. I'm really disappointed in that. I even use this guy. You've never seen me use this guy before. I mean, it was amazing, it was spectacular, but I guess now you just can never see it. So, I don't know, I'll just leave it there until next time, I guess. All right, don't worry about any of that shit, doesn't matter. So, now that we've got everything prepped, what we're gonna do is start cooking. What I've got here is a really nice, non-stick, flat, low-sided non-stick pan. Now, the thing about this pan is, it's not what you fucking want. Don't cook stir fry with one of these. What we have here is a cast iron. Now, this is probably known as the white person's wok. Now, the funny thing about this pan is, it's not what you fucking want either. Don't cook in a fucking cast iron. Cast iron is not non-stick. It's not gonna fucking work, and it's gonna be shit. What you need is a proper wok. That's why I've got this bad boy. So this is a carbon steel wok, properly seasoned, been used for a while now. It's my baby, I use it all the time. Way more non-stick than that guy. This is what you need. All right, I don't know if you can see, but the wok is starting to smoke a bit. So now we're going to go in with some rice bran oil. You can use any kind of neutral oil. Peanut oil is a really good one to use too. Vegetable oil if you want to. I like to use rice bran oil. So we're going to pour a bit around the edge of the wok here. Decent amount. And let's give it a little bit of a turn just to get it up the sides a bit as well. Now you'll notice I'm using an electric hot plate. That's because I'm poor and I can't afford anything better, so don't fucking judge me. Like, subscribe, share, comment, look at my Patreon, do all of that cool shit, and then maybe I can afford to buy better stuff. Deal with it. Alright, so first of all, I'm gonna start off getting our spring onions in. Now this pan's gonna be pretty hot, despite being an electric pan here, this guy gets ripping hot. You really need your wok to be incredibly hot for this type of stuff. You've probably seen Uncle Roger, you've seen Andy, You've seen Chinese cooking demystified. They all talk about it. Hot wok equals good. Needs to be hot. Hotter the better. So let's get these guys in here a bit cooked up. They're gonna go a bit hotter even. I don't have any ventilation in here. I'm cooking on a fucking table, as you can see, in the middle of my lounge room, so deal with it. I mean, I'm gonna deal with it, not you. You can't smell it. Although I wish you could smell it. It's really good. All right, so our pork is already cooked, obviously, but I just want to get a bit of tossed around here and incorporate the flavors. As they would say, wok is what we're after here. So you want to do all this stuff before you put your sauce in. Your sauce has got heaps of sugar in there, so as soon as you get that in, it's going to start burning and caramelizing really quick. So we want to kind of get our breath of the wok and all of our flavors incorporated, fried off dry first before we put the sauce in. Sauce in this type of dish always goes in at the end. It's another mistake I see newbies making a lot. Putting your shit in too early. Stop putting your shit in too early. Hopefully you can see that, but it's starting to get some really good color and fragrance going. So toss these guys around a bit more in the pan here. So now what we want to do is go in with our noodles. Now we want to get our noodles fried off before we add the sauce. Again, because what we're doing is we're going through this wok. We want to get the noodles a bit fried. Obviously not, we don't want to sear our noodles. We don't want to kind of overcook them, but we do want a little bit of color and a little bit of browning. I would say a very light fry. Now, I've been making this type of dish for a while now, so I kind of know what we're looking for, but you want to go for a couple of minutes here. Look, you don't want to overcook things. If you were using a gas wok or something that had a really high output, like a good induction or something, obviously you would go a little bit shorter. You would have the heat higher and you'd be really searing things off like crazy. I don't have that luxury here. I'm working with what I've got, so I'm going to adjust my recipe accordingly. And you know what, that's what cooking's all about, right? Just kind of learning your gear, learning what you've got, adjusting accordingly. When you follow a recipe, it's not always going to work out perfectly. It's not always going to work out exactly the way that it did in their book, because you don't have their stove, you don't have their tools, you don't have their equipment. And you know, that's fine. You have what you have. So learning to use what you have to cook what you want is the main thing. Believe it or not, I've got this going about halfway. It can go hotter than that, but it's some no-name fucking thing I bought from AliExpress. I'm actually scared to turn it up more than that. I don't want to burn my house down. I know when I first started cooking stir fries and stuff way back in the day, I used to struggle with stuff sticking all the time. Obviously, having a well-seasoned wok is definitely part of it. But there is a technique to it as well. You can't show the wok fear. If you show your pan fear, that's when it's got you. I would say same thing with stainless steel. I used to be a stainless steel non-enjoyer. Used to hate cooking with stainless. Nowadays, pretty much stainless is the only thing I cook with, unless I'm using my wok. Alright, that's pretty good. We don't want to cook that anymore, otherwise those noodles are going to start getting soggy. So now I'm going to go in, give this a bit of a stir, just to make sure that's nice and incorporated again. And what we're going to do is going to pour along the sides here. Don't pour directly onto the noodles. Also, we don't need to put all of that in. It's probably a bit more than we needed. This is meant to be a wet noodle dish, but we don't want it to be swimming either. So you'll notice that this will just immediately start kind of congealing. The leftover starches in those rice noodles are going to help kind of bring the sauce together. You do notice that the noodles are breaking up a little bit as well, but look, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's all going to taste good still. And there we go. That is it. Alright, so I've gone in here with a handful of our spring onions. So as I said at the beginning, this doesn't really need to be cooked, it's more of a garnish. So just kind of just chucked them in there, tossed them through, and they are gonna be bloody sweet. All right, now I'm gonna plate up on our plate that we used before, nothing fancy. Look, we're making dinner at home here, we're not plating up for a restaurant. So yeah. Cooked way too much for this fucking plate, but you know what, that doesn't matter. Can have some left over later. Let's grab a couple of cheeky bits of pork in there, get them on top. Oh, bloody hell, how you doing? Yeah, nice, not bad. Well anyway, thanks for giving me a quiz. Make sure to check out my other videos. If you like what I'm doing here, like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to comment, really helps out. I do have a Patreon, I'm a brand new channel, but you know what? If you want me to see me get better gear, that's how it's gonna happen. But apart from that, thanks for watching, you've been awesome. I've been Tammy, and I shall see you next time. Bye.